Hi guys. Okay, take a cup of tea because this will be personal and something I've never shared before. I make myself vulnerable, but I want to share it with you because it may help you to finally recover. The first bite of your favorite binge food is priceless, right? For me, it was bread with honey. That taste of a fresh and warm oven-baked bread with spoons of honey. Priceless. I even look forward to the weekend binge on some days, although I knew it would end up painfully because I already felt that I would binge. This is the last time, and from Monday on, I will be good again and portion my food and do more exercise. This lie I told myself every week and believed it. I felt the binge urge because I was so calorie depleted, and therefore my nervous system automatically started daydreaming of higher calorie dense foods. It never was a dream of vegetables. I always was a fruit lover, but I only allowed myself to have half a banana and a small apple a day. The irony is that many binge eaters fear to eat as much healthy starch as they want instead of allowing themselves to do that. They binge on thousands of calories worth of junk food just in one sitting. Do you notice something? All the diets blamed carbs and fruit for weight gain, and therefore I deprived myself of it, although I always was a fruit and potato lover. Once a week I allowed myself to have half a pound of potatoes and assumed this was a big portion. Do you know who are the most successful people that recover from binge eating? Those who experience one of the best recoveries immediately, those who don't lose anything because they already lost it, those who are honest and not lying to themselves. One of the biggest guilts a binge eater has is this immense guilt and shame they experience. The loss of control. Funny that actually this massive control is what keeps them stuck. If they would just let go of control, but sometimes when we let go of control, magic things happen in life. You allow nature to do its own job. The problem is that most binge eaters stick to their old experiences. They try thousands of times to let go of control. And as soon as they let go of control, they overeat on junky food and slowly gain weight. Been there, done that. It was impossible for me to have a healthy weight by eating moderate amounts of processed foods. It was difficult to eat those processed foods moderately without being tempted to eat the whole package. So over time, I slowly gained weight. This changed when I started to follow a whole foods plant-based diet. I tried to let go of control numerous times again, and it felt scary initially, but I trusted it because it seemed so logical. Why should our bodies hurt us by gaining excessive amounts of weight? It seemed logical to me that when I give my body what it was designed to eat, my weight will balance out. Maybe not the weight I want, but somewhere between a healthy BMI range. Use your control for the right areas. For example, control what food enters your house, control your meal prepping, control to have healthy snacks with you, and control to eat on time, but don't control your natural homeostasis like your hunger drive. Use your control wisely. Stop searching for magic easy fix solutions. It is time to give your body a rest from the control. We focus too much in life on things we don't have control over, like the weather or our homeostasis or what other people think of us. Amy Dillard said, how we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. How do you spend your day? Do you know why I can talk without any shame at all around my binge eating past? Because I developed binge eating back then, not because something was wrong with me, what most approaches teach you, but because I tried to trick my biology. My survival mechanism, my famine defense mechanism switched on by not eating enough from the right foods. So binge eating is nothing more than a protection mechanism by your nervous system to make sure you don't starve, and it makes up for those calories you depleted your body from. It is less complicated than you think. To be honest, for my finances, it would be better to tell you that something is wrong with you and your psychology. Therefore, we have to fix that first. And when we fix that, you can eat moderate amounts of junk food. Isn't that amazing? And we would talk and talk and talk and talk. Good for my bank account, but bad for yours. That's what many approaches still preach. This is a trap. and many people still hold on to it because you don't have to change your eating behavior and getting rid of the pleasurable foods. Yes, it is painful for many in the beginning to let go of junky food, and yes, it can be tough socially not to eat pleasure trap foods anymore. You go completely against your instinct by giving up pleasure trap foods. Learning a new skill is always painful in the beginning because we only become better by making mistakes. You don't eat junk food because of a trauma. You eat junk because of your survival instincts that are hijacked by the modern food supply. You are trapped in the pleasure trap. Furthermore, the pressure of a modern woman is intense. We compete with the entire internet. When I was 16, a hint of lip gloss did the job. I felt like Madonna by wearing a $2 lip gloss. Nowadays, girls in their 30s have to learn how to contour their faces like a Kardashian in order to keep up with the Joneses. The pressure is high, and as a result, women try to do quick fixes like losing weight pretty fast. They get discouraged because they don't achieve the desired result. They don't look like the girl on the internet. They end up in the ego trap, and as a result, they sabotage themselves and try to find quick pleasure that comes from junk food. Boom, the binge eating and restrict cycle repeats again. They feel psychologically down. What makes them overweight and sick makes them happy for a few minutes at the same time. That's a nasty trap. When it comes to binge eating, you can betray your doctor, your family, or even yourself, but you cannot betray a former binge eater for almost 15 years. I'm the Sherlock, and it's my specialty to uncover your blind spots. There is a reason why Dr. McDougall says that all dieters are liars. And binge eaters are chronic dieters. They are so good in it that they don't realize anymore that they lie to some degree. I have emotional problems, and that is why I binge. I hear this all the time from clients. I don't deny you don't have problems in your life. The question is, who hasn't? All of us have life circumstances or difficulties they have to face. People try to improve their lives all the time. There will never be a state where something or someone doesn't trigger you or don't upset you. I've noticed that these are excuses for some people to use the pleasure trap as something they cannot solve. When you are down, have stress, etc., you have less motivation to buy healthy food, to prepare it, and so forth. Yes, that can be painful, but try to find ways to make it work. Become a good animal. Let's assume you no longer have any issues in your life. No stress, no drama, no abusive relationships, etc. You solve them all. Do you think the binges go away when you don't change the food or the behavior around it, like restricting, not eating until satiety, and so forth? But Justina, you don't understand. I binge on healthy food like oats, potatoes, and rice, and not on pleasure trap foods. I feel you because I did that as well. Back then, I was not aware of my behavioral mistakes around food. Again, that's why Dr. McDougall says all dieters are liars. I was not aware that I made mistakes. For example, I binged on healthy foods after a water fast, or on healthy food because I was very hungry for breakfast, but I only had a small bowl of oatmeal instead of a big one. I assumed that I could not have the double amount of oats because the vegan influencer just eats half a cup of oats, and if I want to be slim like her, I have to do the same. Tell that my hunger drive. Ladies and gentlemen, comparison is the thief of joy. Furthermore, when I eat that much already for breakfast, I will eat way too many calories on the entire day, I thought. So I binged on healthy food after I lost 20 pounds. Within 2 weeks after a severe sickness, I binged on healthy food because I thought I could only eat at a specific time window. You see, such small things that many aren't aware of can lead to a binge on healthy foods. These were just a few examples to name. When I dig deeper into my clients' diet, there is always a reason why they binge, which is related to the food itself or their behavior around it, or both. When they solve this, magically the binges stop without even fixing their emotional problem. But because the binges stop, they now have more time and energy to solve the problem. I understand that junky food gives us pleasure right away, and when you are in a low state, it gives you a cheap and quick pleasure right away. But even if you fix all of your emotional problems and the stresses in your life, but you don't plan your healthy diet and don't change your eating and your restriction tendencies, you will still binge. You can spin it in any way you want. All roads lead to Rome. aka the food and restriction problem. If you deal with emotional problems, do yourself a favor and fix the binging. Some people just don't want to recover truly. They are not willing to make the changes needed. They are bored by the meal prepping, by eating differently than their peer group. They want quick and easy results but cannot imagine eating whole healthy foods. The pain is not enough, and sometimes they don't recover just because of a lack of knowledge. Sometimes only one new piece of information that seems so obvious can do the trick when heard from another person. Your brain computes and evaluates what is right or wrong built on your own experiences. Being slender is not as easy as everybody says it is in the modern world, even when you know everything about the pleasure trap. This will not move the trap away. Instead, you have to learn how to dance around this trap. Furthermore, some people want to get status for why they binge. Be careful, this is false status. They want to hear that it is not their fault. In fact, it is not your fault to live in a world full of supernormal stimuli like junky food, but it is your responsibility. Like Dr. Hawk keeps saying, when you fix your binge eating, you have an easier time handling your other situations. You will be more calm and happy. You get a lot of esteem signals by just doing the right things from your internal audience. To recover from binge eating can be an easy fix when you let your body do its job and let it eat as much as it desires from the food it was designed to eat, from whole, natural plant foods. I recovered from binge eating while I experienced one of the hardest emotional roller coasters of my life. Dr. Lyle once said that emotional problems don't create binge eating. It's the binge eating and the associated weight gain that creates emotional problems. Think about that for a second. Maybe you are offended by my message. That is fine. I understand your doubts. But this is my secret message I share with you after what I learned after dealing for more than a decade with binges. I tried all kinds of psychoanalytical therapy, etc., but none of that worked. I did not understand why my childhood issues or other problems in my life caused me to binge. It didn't make sense to me. In fact, I felt even worse because there were issues in my life I could not fix or had control over. I wish someone would take me by the hand on the day before my wedding day, where I had a massive binge, and would just say, Justina, restriction is the reason why you binge. And what are you expecting? You try to manage moderation of foods your nervous system is not designed to eat. Therefore, leave that behind. And let's have a big bowl of baked potatoes and everything will be fine. At that time, it took me another 10 years and gallons of tears to find out the real cause for binges. I sincerely wish for you for the next season in your life to recover fully and gain trust in yourself again. I enjoy helping other people recover from binge eating because it doesn't matter how long you suffer from binge eating. Everybody can recover. There is no expiration date, but your whole natural plant foods have one. Therefore, I want you to digest this info what follows, and after you watch the video, go and make yourself a big plate of oven-baked potatoes or have a big bowl of fruit before they expire. Don't seek pleasure in addictive food or by trying to be as skinny as possible. These are both traps. Instead, seek pleasure in doing the best you can of what you were given. Give your body the food and the health it deserves. A healthy weight will follow. You can change more than you think. I give you the information, but you are the one who implements the change. No one else can do that for you. I prayed thousands of times that the binges stopped. Then they stopped, but the solution was something I would never expect. Even my family could not believe it. It was too good to be true. It was the complete opposite of what common psychology or other teachings taught me on this topic. Everybody expected something different, and not eating more healthy starches and more food in general is the solution. I don't say there is no correlation at all between your negative emotions and binging. Keep in mind, correlation is not causation. As I explained in some of my other videos, your cost-benefit analysis shifts in stressful situations. And I don't want to weaken your personal emotional challenge you face right now with what I said. Not at all. Quite the opposite is true. With the information I give you, I want to strengthen your belief in yourself and show you that you have greater power over the situation than you think you have. Unfortunately, I see so many binge eaters are trapped in this emotional theory that blurs their vision of how much power they actually have. These are victims of a fixed mindset. I never talk about that because my channel is not about that, and this is something very personal I've never shared before, and I don't want to signal that to you, that you only can recover when you are this or that or believe this or that. It doesn't matter because everybody can recover. There is no exception. The basic principle is always the same. You just need to understand the concept of the pleasure trap, a bit about human nature, and stopping any form of food restriction. Long story short, I'm very spiritual and a believer. This helped me immensely on my way to recover from binge eating and other areas in my life. However, understanding the concept of the pleasure trap in the modern world was the last piece of my journey to recover from binge eating. And understanding how we humans were designed and are overtaken by many of our instincts. I understood that I could not control my hunger drive and that binges are only a famine defense mechanism. I understood that this isn't bad at all because we humans created this trap by ourselves and therefore we are the ones who can resolve this again. It just showed me that there is something bigger I have to surrender. So many binge eaters I know are highly successful people and very conscientious and control freaks. This can lead to success in many areas, but when you try to control your human nature, this often ends up in a disaster. One day I hit rock bottom with my binge eating. My faith and trust prepared my mind, and therefore I was super open and willing to do anything in order to recover genuinely and long term. I stopped seeing myself as the victim to my feelings in terms of binging. I stopped questioning the concept of the modern food dilemma. I stopped being the victim of my instincts. Because finally I learned to let go of control and to be open to giving my body what it wants, enough food, and stopping the restriction. I realized that I have control, but not in an area where I assumed it to find, in my willpower. My willpower was not required at all for this solution. I found it in following what I deeply feared, following my true hunger drive and expecting the weight my body naturally balanced out while eating all the healthy foods. Practically, this meant stopping the restriction and stopping to eat foods we humans weren't designed to eat. I surrendered completely to the process, and that's why recovering was so easy for me. I did not force my body to be at a specific weight. I let it happen naturally. The fear you may hold in yourself while you still binge is to reach a weight you are not happy with. I can't promise you to reach any weight you want, but I can promise you to reach a perfectly healthy weight for your individual genetic makeup that is far away from being overweight. My most successful clients had a similar path. They knew that giving up on specific foods might be challenging initially, and giving up on the control that made them so successful in other parts of their lives. They surrendered to the process and trusted me fully. Those who are trapped in the self-pity party, how terrible their emotions are, and that these are the reasons for binging, and that they can only be happy when they are at the lowest BMI possible, etc., unfortunately never truly recover. Their why is unclear, their goal is unrealistic, or they still hold on to the lust they get offered by the modern world. Life is not always the way we want it to be. Shift your perspective, and I promise you, you will recover with the right mindset. In these terms, I recommend you to read the book Mindset by Carol Dweck if you deal with a fixed mindset mentality. The interesting thing that happened when I started to let go of this lust was the following. When people ask me if I'm never triggered by junk food, I sincerely can answer this question with a no. I'm so deeply grateful to eat all the foods that nature offers in such a variety. I'll never be able to taste all of nature's tasty food. I was designed and created to eat all those foods that I don't want to disturb this beautiful design plan for us humans to destroy with something that is not good for me. Even if my nervous system senses those foods as very pleasurable, my mind doesn't. I have greater power over the situation. I didn't want to push my body into a specific weight it didn't want to be. I was surprised by what happened. I lost weight, yes, not as much as I wanted, and my old mindset would restrict again, but my new mindset said, I do the best I can, and the rest is not in my hand. I lost weight, but super slowly. No magic like I lost 35 pounds in the blink of a moment. It happened over the years. I nurtured my body and gave it what it needed. If I was unhappy about specific body parts, I said, okay. Then I tried to change my exercise routine and maybe my body composition will slightly change. Who knows, but this is the only thing I can do. It happened. And then there are parts I cannot change. I live with my body for the rest of my life. Therefore, the sooner I learn to make peace with it, the easier it will be for me. Ask people who look perfect in your point of view. They still find parts of their body that they are not happy about. And that's why you see many celebrities do one cosmetic procedure after another. Seek and you shall find. There is always room for improvement. Above all, the possibilities are becoming increasingly accessible in the modern world. Welcome to human life. There is a Japanese concept of the view of beauty. They call it wabi-sabi, and it means the discovery of beauty is an imperfection and peacefully accepting the natural cycle of growth and decay. We do age, and this means our bodies will always change in a way we may not like, but the sooner you learn to make peace with the cycles of life, the easier your life will be. Personally, I like the cultures where older people are valued and treated as something special. These old people are seen as very valuable and aging itself as something worthwhile. Age is something worth striving for. There is a time for beauty and a time for wisdom, which can only be achieved through aging. This is the walk of life. In this context, I love older people and look up to them. I personally believe that you can age in dignity and beauty if you take good care of your body and mind and give them the best they need. It's not about being the best, but doing the best. Understanding all those dynamics and human nature and what Dr. Lai taught me on this concept even confirmed my faith more deeply. If you are a believer, then use this as a tool to strengthen your belief in yourself and over the power you have. Stop being the victim of your emotions, because you will always face unpleasant ones to some degree. Let go of some control over everything that happens in your life and instead start to manage the small things in your life, like how much and what food you eat. The good thing is that this will help your emotions immensely and it will increase your overall happiness in life. Years ago, my husband and I were out for a surf trip. He said, when big waves come, don't fear them and don't panic. Just relax and don't push against them. Let yourself go with the wave instead of against it. Surrender to nature and just let it happen. The same is true for binging. Let yourself go with your hunger drive instead of against it. Surrender to your instincts. Give them what they want, enough and good healthy food, and you will get the peace and calmness your mind so deeply desires. From the bottom of my heart, I genuinely believe that everybody can recover from binge eating, no matter how long they already deal with binge eating, 1, 10, 20 or 50 years. But not everybody is ready. I was in a similar situation to yours, and I know firsthand how hard it can be to let go of control. So I will tell you a secret. I was always a control monkey, but don't tell anybody. But the older I get, the better I get at not following the urge to control everything and every detail, and I'm surprised that areas of my life I so hardly tried to control, as soon as I surrendered, slowly but steadily, my challenging situations resolved without me, the control freak. Right now I'm dealing with something in another area of my life that is challenging, where I need to let go of control in order to be happy. I had a sleepless night today because of overthinking it. So by telling you this, I need to remind myself with these words daily that surrendering and giving up control is powerful. In this sense, happy recovery. And see you in my next video. Bye bye.